Victor 3, I'm pulling up on scene right now. Victor 3, hold the air. I see the subject inside. Looks like he's got a gun in his hand, and he's pointing at the clerk.
Coz, I've got the south covered behind you. Watch the crossfire.
Running southbound, Rob. He's coming right at you.
All units, Victor 3, Victor 5 are fighting with one. Hold the air.
Victor 3, slow down. Subject in custody. Firearm recovered.
Copy that. Command clear. Subject is in custody for the robbery. Firearms recovered.
Good evening, Jorma. Many questions for ELPD tonight and over the past few weeks, ever since Michigan State University's Welcome Week saw ELPD officers use force in at least 2 incidents. In one, officers tased a man who pulled a knife from a backpack in a crowd. The second incident involved police deploying pepper spray on 2 men they say were fighting. Now, 6 News recently asked ELPD Police Chief Jennifer Brown about that July use of force statistic, and her answer was not taken well by the commission or a city council member.
And it also implies that we want to be a cop city and a sundown town.
That's what East Lansing Councilwoman Dana Watson had to say in response to East Lansing Police Chief Jennifer Brown's reasoning for ELPD using 88% of its force on black people in July, which went as follows.
We've had a disproportionate number of minorities come into the community and commit crimes. And as police officers, we are simply responding to those crimes.
Watson says the comments made by Brown are racist and sends the message that East Lansing is a sundown town.
If the cops see you as a black, brown, or indigenous person in the community after sundown, then they're gonna help you understand that this isn't where you should be. You're not from around here.
All right, Rob, here we are, right? 10/16/25.
Yeah, man.
Approximately so many hours ago, the the East Lansing Independent Police Oversight Commission is screaming for the resignation of Jen Brown because they believe she's racist.
The police chief of East Lansing. So you have a civilian oversight commission calling for the resignation of the chief of police.
A ton of details to talk about, but before we pulled out our favorite decanters of top shelf beverage, right? Because this conversation is worthy of that.
That's right.
And we're hoping, right, that we don't slide into the confrontational reaction. Well, you know what, Rob? Let's be transparent. We came in here 2 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, and we recorded a podcast and we were on fire. And we decided to come back in here and be more responsible. I kind of wish that maybe the East Lansing City Council could be a little more responsible. But before we do that, cheers, my friend.
Hey, cheers, man. Top shelf
conversation.
This top shelf conversation. And I love how you started us off, man, because Rob Forbes and John Cosme on Hold the Air podcast, from day one, our mission was not to be polarizing, right? We do not want to put our opinion out there just for the sake of trying to make our own splash
or supporting law enforcement.
Right. We see this as something that's happening that is extremely unfounded and unjust. And now we're retired and we have a platform after 50 years of combined police experience, and we see a police chief being called a racist on flat out of bounds stuff.
Yeah, because she's
we're not trying to be polarizing, but at the same time, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's fairness is a very, very important quality in everything you should do in life, right?
Right.
And also what's important, I believe, is having each other's backs, right? So we understood that when we saw this, there was an other side of the conversation. So whether you agree with it or not, that's not our position. But we are going to explain where we're coming from and how we support law enforcement and how we know that Jen Brown is not a racist.
Right.
And how easy it is for people to go out and use flashy words to trigger and to base the race bait conversations. I mean, they're asking for the resignation of this woman because she made a public statement, and we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
and you are the one that had the idea to do this episode, and man, I thank you for it. It's an important issue. It's an issue that I don't think that there's a better combo in you and me to dive into this issue fairly. quite frankly.
Well, I mean, dude, I'm not gonna say I know what you're saying, but you're white and I'm brown, and we did law enforcement for 25 years, right?
Yes.
We're not responding to a racial opinion. We're responding to a crime in progress. So if I could start this whole thing.
Yeah, please.
I think it was News 6 put something out there, and it's what we started our video with here. And it was a news report of Jen Brown making a public comment. Her public comment was disproportionate amount of minorities in East Lansing during Welcome Week, right? And then she went on to say, our jobs as police officers is to address crime and to provide public safety. And then the city council in East Lansing, Dana Watson, makes a public statement in response saying what she said was racist. And then she continued to say that Jen Brown's mission as chief is to create a cop city or a sundown city, which is a term that's aged. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, the majority of my black friends are successful. The majority of my white friends are successful. The majority of my brown friends are successful, right? There are some that aren't. There are some that are that made decisions and the law became like they got involved in shit they weren't supposed to be involved in, and there was an accountability to it. When she made that statement, Dana Watson, about Jen wanting to make East Lansing, it was ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The idea that officers are waiting for the sun to go down to chase out people that look like me.
Honestly,
like that's so.
It's inflammatory.
It's inflammatory. It's disingenuous. It's wildly unprofessional. And I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
You and I both know, bro. 2020 happened, right? The George Floyd crisis. Bastardized law enforcement. We had to navigate around so much of this with our own city council in Lansing, right? We had a member on the city council that accused Lansing of being the KKK. They accused all these
was on board with defund the police.
Defunding the police.
Our own leadership was calling to defund our own police department. What?
On something that happened in a different jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of being able to say stupid shit on social media platforms or from a position that this person had, we know that garners clicks and views, and what is this person talking about? But it's cheap. It's cheap as shit. That person is no longer on our city council, right? Because the common sense just won that war of attrition.
You ain't lying.
The behavior of this person just became so bad that he was voted away. We had another person that was active during this time, screaming at our mayor, we defund the police, you need to allocate money this way and that way. That person is no longer making any splashes in Lansing because Lansing didn't have a national example that they were using, right? So fast forward to recently what happened and what the news put out there. They put out, you guys saw it, they put out this thing, right? And it's a survey, not a survey, but it's a study based on statistical information gathered in 2024.
Okay.
And this is where I say, the news and sometimes the media is irresponsible. 2024, 88% of use of force were against minorities, or 88% of the time when contact was made with a minority or black person, force was used, right? From 2024. And then the news sneaks in a video of this year's Welcome Week where a guy had a knife in public around all these students. Let me remind you, if someone in mental crisis or someone who's intoxicated or someone who's absolutely hell-bent on harming people goes unattended, you have what happened in Traverse City in Walmart, right? This dude went around and stabbed multiple people before the right person put a gun in his face and said, this shit stops right now. And it stopped, and no more harm or loss of life happened, right? This was a civilian that intervened, right? You've got a campus, East Lansing's, the mutual aid, like they work with MSU DPS. of thousands of people congregating. Welcome week. Listen, if you're a criminal, you're a non-resident, you don't have no interest or anything vested in the city of East Lansing or the campus of MSU, welcome week is a target-rich environment.
You ain't lying.
Right? You and I both know that. You and I were sent to East Lansing multiple times to police people that weren't from the neighborhood, or not the neighborhood, from the city, that came from everywhere. Lansing, Flint, Saginaw, Detroit. It's just a gigantic party. We don't give a damn if everyone from Detroit came to East Lansing. But as soon as you act a fool and start fighting in the middle of the street, as soon as you target what you think is a vulnerable group of college kids, as soon as you pull a knife out and start threatening people in public, the police are obligated to intervene, right?
I could not agree more. And I'm very, if you're going to kick it to my, you know, you're going to hit the tennis ball over to my side of the court, so to speak, with that. As frontline workers, you and I, 25 years on the street apiece,
right,
of real policing in a really busy town.
Right.
We took thousands of calls, thousands of reports, thousands of arrests, all of that, right? We never chose to get promoted. And because we loved what we did in the difference that we could make on the calls that we policed, right? And I say that on purpose because we did our very best to police the right way. And we look back after 25 years, and you and me agree to the bone on this, man. We look back and we say it mattered. It didn't matter necessarily every second of every day like we would want it to, but we know with that kid or that mom or that situation, I made an impact and they're better from it.
Right.
Right. So the problem is this. If you're going to make the police have so much pressure on them, we're talking the frontline police, the men and women, the first responders doing the job, responding to violence. Now you're going to put on their plate the ultimate game, Coz, of would you rather. And that game of would you rather sounds like this. Would you rather have behind curtain number 1 and you're a racist because you saw a person with a knife who happens to be black, and that person was tasered because he has a knife and it was violent, and you had to take action, all completely above board and justifiable, by the way. Very even, some would argue, that could very easily escalate to a deadly force situation. That person could be way worse than tasered in that instance.
Right.
Okay, so on one hand, would you rather curtain number 1 be called a racist, or would you like to have curtain number 2? And behind curtain number 2 is, well, I definitely don't like the flavor of curtain number 1. I don't want to be called a racist. So my response is avoidance. I'm going to be the avoidance type policing, and I am just going to do the absolute bare minimum. I'm going to look the other way. I don't want to get involved. I just want to show up, do the bare minimum, take the least amount of action I can. If I don't have to arrest anybody, then the pay is the same. And if I didn't make any waves and I didn't get any arrests or any use of force, then I'm winning. But you know, and I know that if you take that approach, the avoidance approach, you're a bum.
Yeah, and people get hurt.
You're a bum. And somebody's going to get hurt bad because you avoided what you signed up to do.
Right.
So in the middle of that, you have ELIPOC, the East Lansing Independent Police Oversight Commission. And they are the ones fanning the flames and telling the frontline cops from the top down, from the chief down, they're setting the tone of whatever you do, it's going to be deemed racist. We are, when we put our lenses on, we're looking for reasons that you were racist.
Right.
And that is bullshit.
All right. I'm going to tell you why, dude. I'm going to double down. You know, it's irresponsible, right? But listen, ELIPOC has one goal and one goal only, is to justify their existence.
They want that aha moment.
But listen,
See,
but listen,
right?
I'm
right?
I'm gonna be fair in this.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about oversight. Look at me. I got a body camera on my chest. I'm gonna respond to calls. I'm gonna do my shit the right way. ELIPOC is never gonna fade me, bro. Like I'm not worried about ELIPOC. But to your point, right? You've got people that are have this disposition like, holy shit, it doesn't even matter if I do my job right. And I get that. I totally understand that. What bothers me is that ELIPOC assumes that every white officer is racist until proven otherwise. Where is the due process in that? Right? How do you justify this? Everything we do should involve a process, right? They're going to make public comment based on a video, right, where 3 white officers are pointing tasers at a black male who had produced a knife. And they're like, holy crap, we have got to address this, right? Two black males fighting in the middle of the street. I have seen, and I don't know if you have, but I've seen guys get punched, land on their face, and be in critical condition or worse, right? So we have to address this swiftly. Like the idea, the standard of second guessing, right? So they watch the body cam and they say the performance should have been better because they didn't de-escalate enough, or they didn't do what we feel they should have done, which is completely off base. It's completely off base. I really feel that the only thing that matters when a crime is observed or you're dispatched to a crime is how well are you going to get the desired outcome, right? But if you're white, ELIPOC's going to say, it doesn't matter. If you're white, Dana Watson's going to say, it's a cop city. It's a sundown city. Of the 88%, of the numbers that they produced and the news reported, how many of those incidences have been found to be excessive force, right?
Right.
How many of them have been found to be wrong? Right?
That's right.
So there's a process to everything. If the body camera catches me doing some dumb shit, guess what? Then Nestle's going to have my ass.
Okay, that's a great point. Rob and Coz and Hold the Air podcast, we are not defending misconduct.
When you make an inflammatory statement like that, there's no process. Watson makes the comment, and Jen doesn't have any process in this.
Zero.
She doesn't get to say, hey, wait a minute. Here's the full body camera. Show that on the news. Hey, wait a minute. Here's the witness statements that corroborate why we were there. Hey, wait a minute. This was litigated in 53B court. What is it?
54B.
54B.
Yeah.
This was litigated. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Use of force was reviewed and they did it. There's no process. She just goes out there, runs her mouth.
That's a great point.
At Jen's expense.
You are not lying.
And it's so disgusting to me because policing the police is a very important thing to do. We have got to have a force of men and women that know how to do their job. Nobody gets more pissed off than you and me when we watch a video and we're like, what the was that guy thinking? Mm-hmm. Right? Because we know this isn't a perfect game. It's impossible, right? It's impossible to pitch a perfect game in law enforcement. So ELIPOC, when you have that moment and it's legitimate, do your job. But to flat out call Jen Brown a racist because she says too many people from around the state, a bunch of people came in here, and the numbers are disproportionate just because.
Which happens to be,
right,
newsflash, the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. So if there's a disproportionate amount of minorities in East Lansing and they're using whatever, by the way, we don't know how many incidences happened, right? In during this time frame. That's how stupid what she said is. If she thinks that Jen said something inappropriate,
it's not just stupid. It's inflammatory, and it's misleading. Wrong. It's so misleading.
It's misleading, and today they asked for her resignation.
ELIPOC asked for Chief Brown to resign. Yes,
and here's why. Yeah, because they feel her words were triggering. Dana Watson, I'm asking you to resign. I'm asking you to resign
100%
from East Lansing City Council.
That's right,
Miss Watson. You're fanning the flames. You're trying to make a name for yourself. Sundown City, Cop City. How about a safe campus? How about extremely difficult crowds to deal with on Welcome Week? How about we don't create the elements of the crime The perpetrator does. We could be invisible and still have to use force. Where's your argument then? Want to make it when the sun goes down, be careful. You know how many people I know in East Lansing that are black and minority that love that city? That love that city. You know how many people in the stands of MSU games love that city and happen to be black, happen to be minorities? When they have their art festival, bro, I love it. I go down there because I'm like, man, I'm smelling all parts of the world down here. And you know why I love it? Because it's a peaceful event. You know why it's a peaceful event? Because the police are doing their job. We're doing our job, bro. There's nothing else that we need to do. And then when we do it wrong, there's going to be enough information when you know, and people need to be held accountable when that happens. But to flash out 2024 survey and then 2 examples from 2025, it's tactically misleading.
It is.
Right? And shame on I won't say shame on the news. News, do your job. Who cares? Yeah. Who cares? But at the end of the day, I worked with too many white people in law enforcement. I worked with too many other people in law enforcement to know. And I've worked partnerships with East Lansing to know. And I know Jen Brown to know that the goal of Chief Jen Brown is not to create a sundown city or a cop city. It's to honestly address questions because they asked her why, and she honestly answered the question. But to turn it and flip it and then use numbers from last year, and then it's just it's so scandalous.
It's sad, actually. Yeah. If there's any experience that we have that I feel like we could weigh in on our opinion, it's something like this. Because we were there in a lot of it. We were in the infantry for a whole lot of years,
yes,
bro.
We were.
Here is my issue with ELIPOC. It's not that we have more eyes on a police body cam. It's not that we have more people around the campfire, so to speak, trying to legitimize police work. Okay? It's not that so much as it is a civilian oversight commission. You have civilians weighing in very heavily and with the ability to call someone racist, right? And they have no police background. They have no police training. They have no experience in the infantry, in the emotional scars that come with it, or what it takes to get someone into police custody who is non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. Because everybody wants to de-escalate. We had the premier use of force expert in this podcast studio in the name of Darren Southworth. I don't think that anybody would argue his value in this arena is second to none of the people that we know anyway, right? And he said it flat out. In order to be negotiable, it takes 2 to tango, right? And that person that you're trying to de-escalate has to come towards the middle and be de-escalatable. Yeah. And it's not something that you have on your tool belt that you can just sprinkle on someone and abracadabra, you're de-escalated, right? And it typically takes a lot of time. And in the instance of somebody fighting in progress or someone with a knife, you're not afforded the time to get into a typical negotiation like you did so many times as a crisis negotiator with Lansing Police. Talked to all kinds of people out of crisis situations. We're not afforded that when it's drop the knife. Right. So the issue that I'm saying is this: when you have civilians that are an oversight commission on that, number one, they don't know what it's like to be the police. Number two, they're making an opinion on something they don't know anything about. And number three, and the biggie for me, and really where I'm going to clap back on this, is they live in a world that happened on video, and that video has a pause button.
Exactly.
And that is impossible. It is impossible to win behind a pause button if you are the one doing it in real time and doing it the best to your ability.
Right.
And really, that is the issue for me, having a civilian oversight commission when you have someone that doesn't know policing and they're going to weigh in, and if they don't like what they see, you're automatically dubbed a racist. But by the way, we're going to pause this video indefinitely, frame by frame by frame, and be able to say, why didn't the officer do this? Well, he or she could have did that. And why wasn't the other thing? And pretty soon we're having hours and hours of a discussion of an event that took minutes. We weren't afforded hours and hours. Play that thing in real time. And really, ultimately, this is what I say all that to say this. ELIPOC, here it comes with your civilian training that you have. And I don't know anything about ELIPOC other than that you're civilians. Rob Forbes and John Cosme got 25 years police street experience. And we know that getting someone into police custody who's non-negotiable is extremely challenging to do. So I would challenge you, throw me a pair of handcuffs. I challenge you, Commission, ELIPOC, give us an email, holdtheairpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a call, 517-881-8183. We're not hard to find. Give us a call. This is not a threat. There's nothing like that, but we'll train you up on how hard it is to get someone into police handcuffs that's non-negotiable. I'll give you the handcuffs. I'll be the bad guy. Expect some resistance, and your job is to put me in handcuffs, and I'm non-negotiable.
Right.
And here's the key. You do not get a pause button.
Right.
And you do not get a whistle to call timeout.
Right. Right.
It's live, it's in color, and you got to put these on Rob Forbes or John Cosme, and we are non-negotiable, bro, and see how hard it is.
Yep. Rob.
Right? With especially hand on hand.
Yeah.
So see how fast you want to go to your tools in the use of a spray, a pepper spray, a taser, these absolute appropriate uses of force.
Yep.
Because those are tools that the police are trained on in order to minimize somebody getting hurt. You take martial arts training seriously, take boxing training seriously, you're in very good shape. These things, right? And I'm not saying that to fluff you up. What I'm saying is, if in my little example here, I'm the police and you're the bad guy, or vice versa, right? You're stronger than me. You have a skill set much higher than me, and you're the police and I'm the bad guy, and you don't have any tools, and I need to be arrested because I'm violent and somebody's going to get hurt by my actions, and you've got to get me in police custody, and you don't have things like tasers and sprays and other tools, and all you have is your hands and your feet, I'm going to get hurt way worse than I would if I was just sprayed and get it over with.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say. And it definitely doesn't make you or me or the rest of the cops in East Lansing or the rest of the world racist.
Because we know the most unimportant thing in that moment is the race. We've got a body that's in front of us, right? A live body with a heart that's pumping blood, right?
Yes.
And we need to figure out how to find the best resolution to this, right? So first of all, I applaud East Lansing.
You know it.
For using tasers, right, in a knife situation, and they showed incredible restraint, incredible training. So to all the training that East Lansing has been provided, thank you.
Yes.
The two guys fist fighting, man, it is a very fluid thing to try to. You go in there and try to interrupt two guys throwing hands, you're going to catch one, and we don't get paid for that. We get paid to, hey, you need to stop. If you choose not to listen to what I'm saying in my instruction, I don't care that you're drunk. I don't care what state of mind that you're in, right? You're going to get a level. We have a force continuum. A level of force is going to be applied. Verbal, right? Tools, right? Pepper spray, whatever. And then hopefully we don't get to the deadly force thing. But these two guys are fist fighting. East Lansing shows up. Yo, stop. Or they just pull up and say, yo, and pepper spray them, and they can't see. They can't continue the violence. So now you've interrupted the percentage of them, the likelihood of them to be injured. So now you can address how you get into their body, right? You know, get in low, take them down to the ground. You know what I mean? Don't let them post, whatever it is. Those two incidences that they were willing to use in that example were correct, right? They weren't incorrect, right? 2024, the 88%, they weren't willing to show us, right?
I love where this is going.
Where's the body cams from the 88% of the time in 2024, last year? Why are you not showing us the body cameras? Because they would. Why are you not showing us the sustained use of force complaint? Because it's not there.
There aren't any.
It's not there. So we're sitting here talking about race when the only thing we should talk about is why force had to be used. And shame on anyone that sits there and fans the flame at the expense of white officers in East Lansing. You know what I mean? It bothers me, and that's why we got together to do this.
You bet.
We support Jen Brown, and I'm going to say flat out right now, do not resign.
Thank you for saying that. Absolutely.
I talked to a friend of mine today, and I don't think that he's going to be upset for me for putting him out there because we had him in the podcast. Frank Mobley. Come on, man. This dude could police.
Oh, he was legit.
He was legit, and he's just a family man. I talked to him today, and I called him because I know that he worked with Jen when she was had her role at SkyMint. And Frank worked, and he's a proud retiree of Lansing Police Department. He said to me, Coz, of all the people that I have ever been supervised by, Jen Brown is in my top 3. She treated me with the kind of respect that I didn't expect. She trusted me very early in my position with her at her former job. He spoke of her like a friend.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, if Frank Mobley says that, it means something.
You are for real.
It means that here is this person that ELIPOC and city council is deeming a demon. She's a racist. She's this, she's that. And black folks, right? Minority folks, it's very easy to throw the racist word on you. But you can't throw it on me when I'm just as egregious, right? So I had to share that because, and there's countless other people that I called that have worked with Jen Brown in the past that speak to her character, to her honesty. You know, nobody's perfect. Jen's not perfect.
Oh,
Jen's not perfect. She comes with faults. We all come with faults, right?
That don't make her racist.
Doesn't make her racist. And when she was asked that question, she answered it, in my opinion, honestly, there was an influx of people that came into the city. And if our police officers were responding to an event or a crime in progress, it wasn't their fault that the combatants were black, right? It wasn't their fault.
Oh.
It was them doing their job. But you grab these numbers and you start to unfairly present them, and all of a sudden East Lansing's a racist police department. You know what I mean?
Well, you're really motivating your cops to take action with somebody with a knife when they're going to get called a racist on the back end.
Yeah.
No thanks.
For sure.
Hard pass. Thank you so much for making this episode, Coz.
Yeah.
You were absolutely the leader of this. It was heavy on your heart. I was super thankful to follow your lead on this.
Yeah. As we're wrapping this thing up, I just want to look at city council here. I don't know what the process is exactly of where this goes next. Like ELIPOC calls for the resignation and this goes to vote or whatever needs to happen, in this process. I'm going to implore you to be fair in this process. I'm going to ask you to be fair in this process. I'm going to ask you to give Jen Brown more time to validate what we know to be someone that can do the job. We're not perfect. Things get said and things can be twisted. But at the end of the day, I know for a fact one of the hardest things to police is active violence. And when force has to be used, the most unimportant thing is race. And when we start to manipulate numbers like this and throw it out to the public and start to suggest that the entire police department is racist, it doesn't improve our community relations with our police department. It doesn't improve anything. And we need to be better. And to City Council, to Dana Watson, I have nothing to say to you. To ELIPOC, do your job. Don't be over-influenced. I'm pretty sure that each of you might have people in your life that have gone astray and have contacted with police, and you might hate the police because sometimes in conversation we hear about these oversight commissions and we hear that these people are just straight up police haters. Like their goal is just to smear the police any chance they get. If that's you, ELIPOC, shame on you. If that's not you, ELIPOC, do your job. Because tomorrow morning and right now and all the way till tomorrow morning, public safety is going to be given to the city of Lansing, or East Lansing, I'm sorry, by men and women that want to do the job, not men and women that want to be judged by words.
Extremely well said. And I'll just, if I can just be afforded the final sentence here.
Yeah.
Okay. I think ELIPOC, and I appreciate that you touched on the cop haters out there. I would just like to remind everyone that 2020 happened. The police culture was bastardized. And still a lot to this day it is. But when something happens like an active shooter on the campus of East Lansing on 2/13/2023, what did so many police do that evening? Dropped everything they had and came because they only wanted to do one thing, and that was anything they could do to stop others from getting hurt who had no business getting hurt in a situation like that whatsoever.
Zero
race about it. We came in waves because we cared.
Yep. Well said, bro.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
Yep.
holdtheairpodcast@gmail.com. You want to make a comment to us? Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you.